Okay, testing the sound. Are we good? Or are we on the sound? We're here. Can we hear? All right. All right, let me just blow up this here, this PowerPoint, and we'll get started. So I'm going to live stream this basic uh trading. Man, oh, got the wrong one. I put advanced. I want the basic. Let's get the basic. Get that out of the way. Okay, I'm just gonna change the name here. It's working. I was working on the advanced one and I forgot to change this to basic. All right, well, let's start again. All right, we might have to do a little bit of editing, but I think we got it down now here for the live stream. But hopefully for the recording, we can just jump right in here. Just uh, jump into the introduction of the basic trading psychology class I'm going to do each week. And hopefully, we can help out some traders out there with just some basic trading psychology knowledge. I love this stuff. So I figured just give an hour of my day to help out with it. And there may be some interruptions. I've still got trades on, so I need to keep an eye on the markets here that I've got going on. And so, with that being said, let's get started. We're going to talk about different topics throughout the weeks, and then kind of rinse and repeat, redo them, and just kind of expound on them, hopefully. But we'll just start off with some basic topics that we talk about in trading psychology. And you're going to run into a lot of these things out here, but it's fun to get different perspectives from different traders, such as myself. So give me just a moment. I gotta move this over here. Yeah, there we go. All right, I'm ready now. So the agenda we're going to talk about in these classes, we're going to talk about emotional management. That's what we're going to just do an introduction today, and then I'm going to talk about what that emotional management looks like a little bit. And then we're going to talk about the discipline and patience, those different virtues that are very important when it comes to trading. We're going to talk about risk management and how to accept and manage your risk. The risk management mindset is extremely important when trading. We're going to talk about the difference and the balance that you need to find between confidence and overconfidence. We'll talk about dealing with losses. That's actually one of the key things in trading. Learning how to deal with your losses can make or break your trading experience. And we'll talk about four big fears in trading, talk about those in detail and how you can manage your fear on those. And then we'll talk about the general growth mindset versus fixed mindset and how to have a growth mindset in your trading profession, trading career, and journey is going to help you be more successful. If you have a fixed mindset, then you're probably not going to learn from mistakes and things like that. So those are the basic psychology things. If you're interested in more of the advanced things, I do a class on Wednesdays, and that's part of the Elite Trading Buddy Elite subscription that you just have to go to the website and look that up. But I'm going to make this basic one a free one that we show on the YouTube channel. All right, so next slide here. Again, we'll break it down per week and then we'll rotate 7, 8 weeks. Every couple months, we'll rotate through these topics. Maybe I'll add another one the eighth week, or we'll switch them up on the different rotation as we get more folks and more feedback and whatnot. Why do we even talk about trading psychology? Well, most of you already know this, but for those of you who are newer to trading, sometimes you kind of feel like, well, I don't really need to work on psychology as much. I need to get I need to get my market knowledge down. I need to get the system. I need to get a trading strategy. And while that is very, very true, and you do need to kind of put a little bit more of your time towards that. Once you get your trading strategy down, you start to understand what to click, where to click, and when to click everything. And then you have your list of steps that you're saying, okay, well, if I just follow this, then I'm going to make money. And then it doesn't work out that way. Well, it actually works out where it flips on you, where you really have to spend 80% of your time or more talking to yourself and figuring out your psychology than your strategy and system and market knowledge and things like that. All of that needs to continue, but you're gonna rotate between those different percentages as you get more experience in the markets. So another reason for trading psychology, if I gave 100 traders the same exact strategy, the step-by-step, the indicator, the entry, the exit, the risk, all the same rules, all the steps, how many outcomes do you think we would get? We'd probably get 100 different outcomes. Why is that? Why do we get 100 different outcomes if if in our trading, with 100 different people, you're gonna get the same. Sorry, I'm getting a little distracted when my toddler's kind of screaming, and I hope that's not coming through, but a little distracted. But why would we get 100 different outcomes if the strategy is the same? It's because of emotions, right? And emotions are affect people a different way. We can really deep dive into what makes emotions tick. This is really important in trading. So there's something that I call emotional intelligence that I go deep into some of my courses. And the first step is to really perceive your emotions. Because if you don't understand your emotions, this is where it can derail and sabotage your strategy and your system. This is where the different outcome of the same strategy could come from 100 different people because there are 100 people have we all have different emotions based on our experiences and based on our conditioning, our fears, and different things like that. And so for ourselves, for you as an individual, you need to understand that you need to be able to perceive how you're feeling first. You need to be aware of what you're feeling. That's the key. That's actually the first key. If you don't know that, hey, I'm feeling angry, if you don't really actually perceive that, then you don't have any chance to make it work in this business. And you can't understand why you're feeling angry if you don't recognize and really accept the fact that, I'm feeling really angry right now about the market going against me and losing money, or I'm feeling really frustrated that I'm not able to be consistent, or whatever it is. Even being perceptive about positive emotions. Wow, I'm feeling really, really hopeful. I'm feeling really, really euphoric because I'm making money and this is going great. We need to be able to perceive that too, because if we don't even perceive that, we can't understand why we're feeling that. If we don't understand why we're feeling certain things, then it makes it impossible to manage. If you don't know how to manage your emotions, then the emotions will drive your trading experience. And for the most part, our emotions will sabotage any type of good things that we want to happen when it comes to trading. Now, it's not to say that emotions are bad. Emotions are actually really good. We will not be able to trade without emotions. Even if you're doing an automated strategy, even if you have like, an AI Autobot or a back tested, automated strategy, there's still emotions with every type of trading that when it deals with money, there's going to be emotions. Okay. Now, they do help manage emotions. There's a lot of ways to good ways to manage your emotions, and doing automated strategies can do that. But you're just going to have to get used to the fact that you're going to feel things. We're emotional creatures, we humans. So when it comes to the big emotions, every emotion actually kind of comes down to the two big ones. Can you guess what those big emotions are? You've got greed, and then you get fear. Okay? You got greed and you got fear. And greed pretty much anyone who's coming into trading has a little bit of greed. Now, I'm not to say that greed is good or bad. We're looking at these emotions from an objective point of view. We're not going to jump into the morality or the goodness of one or the badness of the other. But if we're looking at this objectively and saying, you know, I want more than what I have, that's a little bit of greed. And anyone that's coming into trading and willing to uh, do business with the markets has a little bit of greed, and that's okay. And that's a good thing because that gives you some motivation to push through the fear. Because the fear is a demotivator. The fear is going to, and some people actually have the fear of not having enough, and so it drives them to the markets. That could actually be part of the fear. But you also have fear of taking risks. You have fear of putting your financial situation at risk, putting your emotions at risk, maybe even your relationships at risk. When it comes to dealing with money yourself, and then money that maybe your relationship, uh, your spouse or your partners or your girlfriend, boyfriend that may feel differently about money than you do. But the fears, when it comes to dealing with greed and fear, we need to know how to manage these guys. Okay. Uh, Greed and fear are the big ones, and every other emotion can really be tied to one of these things. So if we understand that, then we're a step ahead of where and how we could be successful in our trading. Because if we understand that these emotions are going to rear their ugly heads, and there will be times when you're in a trade and you look at the strategy says get out, but you want more, and that greed pushes you to hold on to a trade that maybe you shouldn't hold on to, or the greed pushes you to risk more than you should, right? And then the fear, sometimes you could be in a trade and you could say, well, it's going against me, but I don't want to lock it in. I'm afraid of locking in that loss. I'm fearful of losing that money. So you keep holding on to the loss, even though it gets worse and it gets worse and it gets worse. Ooh, that type of fear is not very good. Or you could be in a trade where, hey, it's going my way. I see money. Ooh, it's up a couple $100. I'm going to take it before I'm afraid of losing that that gain, when really you should be holding on to it, right? So you can see just by a couple of those examples that your fear and your greed can sabotage what your strategy and what your stats actually should require from you. And so a lot of times you just need to be patient. That's what we're going to talk about next week, is that discipline and that patience. And so you've got these emotions that constantly rear their heads. So if we go back to these things that we need to how to manage emotion, these are skills that are part of training. These are the the skills that you don't hear about at the beginning, as far as, hey, you need to learn how to read price action and candlesticks, and you need to learn how to buy and sell. You need to learn supply and demand and support and resistance, and these indicators and those, and the economic calendar and everything. All of those are important. Don't get me wrong, but these are skills that are neglected. That's why I like talking about them, because they're not talked about enough. And it's not that they're not talked about. It's most people don't know how to actually manage their emotions. They really, you know, and where they actually understand where they actually come from. But we get deep into that. I talk even deeper about beliefs and emotional triggers in the advanced classes, in the advanced uh, psychology class. We like to get deeper into that, especially if you have a hard time overcoming certain things. We need to dig deeper into why you keep running into the same issues in your training, and why you keep getting frustrated, why you keep getting angry, and those type of things. But really, if you just have this foundation of knowing I need to perceive how I'm feeling while I'm training or before I'm training, particularly before you're trading. If you are really angry or really frustrated before you start trading, if you're just aware of that and you stop yourself from trading, that could save you a lot of money. Understanding your emotions, where they come from, and then being able to manage those. I'm telling you, if you learn those things, uh, this could be a great boon and a great increase to your probability of success. Okay, so great stuff. Let's see what I have on the slides here. I think I just pushed through. Really the secret of these emotions is to help you feel in a safe place. I get a little bit deeper on why this is when it comes to getting in the safety of mind. But if you feel safe while you're trading, and that's why most people don't succeed at first, because because the fear comes in and they don't feel safe. And the greed comes in because they want more, because they want to feel safer, right? It's all about safety. It's all about our survival instinct. And when we're trading with money, sometimes we don't feel that safe. And so to be more safe when you're trading, to manage these emotions, if you manage your expectations, that helps with the safety, managing expectations. Sometimes we feel like if we're not succeeding right away, then we're never going to make it. And that goes back to the, well, I'm not safe to do this if it's going to take a long time. We really shouldn't have that thought. The next thing is developing skills actually creates safety in mind. You know, as you develop patience, as you develop understanding and more knowledge about emotions, as you develop more trading skills and knowledge about indicators and economic things, those skills bring in a sense of confidence that brings that safety that you need. Also, managing beliefs. Sometimes we have these false beliefs. Have you ever heard that fear is the false evidence that appears real? Right? So sometimes we have these false beliefs that create fear out of nothing. Or sometimes we worry about the worst case scenario that really has no chance of actually happening, but we still worry about worst case scenario. I mentioned we've that's what we've talked about the entire time is developing emotional awareness, and that creates safety of mind. Creating good behaviors and maintaining those good behaviors will keep us safe, knowing that we can be confident in ourselves and we can trust ourselves to behave correctly when we're trading can be a great boon to that safety. We're going to talk about this in the third week is accepting and managing risk. That risk is involved in everything that we do in life, but especially in trading. There's a lot of financial risk, but there's also emotional risk and all that. And as we learn to accept and manage that risk, it's like a guardrail against that cliff. You know, it provides that safety that, oh, we can go up to the edge of the cliff, but there's no there's no risk of us falling over as long as we stay within that guardrail. So what is holding you back? Let's ask that question every week. I'm going to ask you this. What's holding you back? Is it your habits and behaviors right now? Do you have bad beliefs and assumptions? Do you have bad perceptions and emotions constantly? Do you have expectations that maybe you need to manage a little bit there? Do you not have self-control or self-awareness? It could be a number of these things. It could be all of these things. I just want to make sure that we're asking that question to ourselves. If we could just first ask that question will start to spur in your mind, huh, what is it that I need to do? What is it that I need to work on? And your subconscious and your mind will actually bring that to the surface. I don't know exactly what it is that you need to do, but you do. Your brain does. And you may not know consciously, but subconsciously you do. So as you ask yourself, is it one of these things? What's holding me back? It may not even be while you're training. It might be while you're eating dinner or watching a show, and it comes to your mind. This is what I need to work on. Make sure you write that down. Make a note of what you need to work on, and then we can come to that. I also make a list of here of great psychology books here. You probably heard of a lot of them. Discipline Trainer, Mark Douglas, Trading in the Zone by also the same author. The Daily Trade Coach by Brett Steenbarger. Mental Edge of Trading is Dr. Jason Williams. Market Mind Game is Denise Scholl. You got Best Loser Wins by Tom Hugart. You've got Trading Psychology Explained. That's probably one of the basic ones we've had. That was probably the first one I ever got. Mark Pring. And so lots of great books out there. Those are just scratching the surface when it comes to great trading psychology books. I'll probably open up a couple of those books in these presentations and take some words of wisdom from there. Uh, but uh, if you have any questions or comments or feedback about this uh, presentation or about this, just let me know. Just email me, Kevin at tradingbuddysystem.com. If you have any questions about what it is that I do, let me know. I'm happy to help. I do a free, if you're brand new, I do a free one-on-one consultation, just see where your training's at, see if my services can help you. I've had a lot of great conversations with trainers out there. And I'm mainly a trainer myself. As you probably see, my YouTube channel isn't all that, it's pretty sparse. It isn't that active. My Discord isn't that active. My website, I'm the only one doing it. So I have, a man of many hats, but my main hat is my training. I trade for a living and I have to focus on that. And quite frankly, I've had some health issues. Last year was probably my worst. I've had chronic health issues for over a decade, and last year was probably the worst one. And so we kind of put a damper on my training, to be honest, frankly. It was a very hard year. But I'm getting back into it, trying to get my health under control, and I appreciate all of you who have been patient and helped me out with suggestions and things like that. But anyway, training is my first love. And then my second love is helping anybody who wants some help. And hopefully I can continue to provide these classes and the services and be a help there. So anyway, thanks for joining me today. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we will talk to you next week.